Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's Townhall about Google AI Mode and OpenAI Advertising. We're so glad that you all were able to join us. My name is Jonathan Bentz, and I am a growth strategist here at Direct Online Marketing. Listen, there's a lot of noise going on in the world of digital marketing right now. So, this afternoon, we're going to take roughly 30 minutes or so to try to simplify and make sense of some of that, tune more into the signal, and contribute less to the kingdom of noise, and hopefully set all of you up with a great course forward for your digital marketing strategies. But I'm not going to do that alone. Brought some of my friends with me. So over here to my right, your left is Billy Wright. He is our head of AI and innovation. And then over here to my left, your right, is Anna Kertland, one of our senior digital advertising strategists. Team, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, cool.
I like that. That's good.
Thanks. I'm glad you guys were able to join this afternoon. So before we get started, let's take just a quick step back and try to get a sense for where we are today. So recently at Google I/O, it was described directly by Google that what we're going to be seeing in the months ahead is the biggest change to search in 25 years. It's like since the beginning of Google. And today, over half of Google search queries actually end up generating an AI summary as opposed to that traditional list of links that we're all used to. So what we know as the norm is now gone or certainly phasing out to be something completely different. And then on top of that disruption happening with Google, you have another disruption happening thanks to OpenAI, where previously they had advertising sort of closed open or maybe just open to companies with big budgets. Now that has been released to the general advertising public. So over the next 28 minutes or so, we're here to break all of that down for all of you. There is a Q&A section here in the webinar. So if you're privileged to join us live and you have a direct question that we're not getting to, please drop it in that Q&A. I'll try to watch here in the town hall and try to get that question addressed here at some point. And then as the team is offering their opinions as we go through the conversation this afternoon, okay? So once again, thanks everybody for joining us. And let's go ahead and get into the questions so we can make sense of what's noise versus the signal we actually want people to be paying attention to. You guys ready? Let's get ahead.
So ready.
Awesome. All right. Billy, we're going to start with you. As it relates to Google AI Mode, tell the listeners what it is and how it might be different from what we're used to.
Yeah, traditionally Google would show you a list of links, the 10 blue links when you ask a question. It then moved to have AI overviews, which is one kind of synthesized answer that it pulled from a variety of sources. Now it's taking AI and it's creating an answer it thinks that you want based on a bunch of different sources, and it may not show those sources whatsoever. So where it used to say, these are the sites that influenced me, now it's saying, sometimes I'm going to tell you that, but the rest of the time I'm going to inform you of what I think the correct answer is, and sometimes I'm going to make up some of that context.
Give me a sense real quick here for the reach, the scope that I know I mentioned earlier that it's over half of search results have an AI generated answer. Give me a hard number. What is that actually?
I don't have specific hard numbers right now. It's high. It's extremely high. They're saying the AI mode, people have moved to about 1 billion searches, I believe, right now.
Okay.
Within AI mode, it's greatly risen, especially over the last month since AI mode has gone live within Google AI.
Okay.
It's increased dramatically. We know there's a significant shift in the amount of traffic that is coming into people's websites from AI mode too.
Yep.
It's much less than it used to be.
Sure.
There was a study that just came out this last week, I think, Sparktober, SparkToro or someone, where it's only about 27% of searches actually trigger any kind of result on the open web now. So the majority are all AI related. And of those searches, only around 20% actually go to a website. So pretty big drop the amount of organic traffic that's coming through from AI versions of search.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that certainly is going to have a dramatic impact, not just on how Google presents information, but as you alluded to, how much traffic companies are actually going to get.
Yeah.
How worried should companies be, or should website owners be about the fact that their traffic is going?
I don't know if worried is the word I would
Okay.
use. I would think you need to be creative and you need to be ready to solve the problem in different ways. One of which is going to be AI advertising, which we'll talk about a bit here. But you need to start thinking about your website as the thing you own that can influence AI. You need to influence AI off your site as well. But if there's one place you can really own your message and tell Google, tell ChatGPT, tell Claude what you want to be known as and what you do, you have to manage your website and make sure it is very clear explicitly on your site who you are, who you're targeting, who's your customer, and who you write for.
Gotcha. Now, let's shift that a little bit. Anna, you've been very polite and patient waiting here. Let's talk about things from the advertising side of the digital marketing game. Are we seeing less clicks from digital advertising in Google coming through also?
Yes, we are seeing more clicks. Click-through rate is going down, but the interesting thing that we are seeing is an increase in the quality of the leads that are coming through. So in this world of zero-click marketing, people are learning everything that they want to from AI searches where the information is being synthesized from ChatGPT. And then when they search for the solution that they decide they want, they find the ad, they click on it, they convert.
Interesting. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is less traffic, and better qualified results coming.
Correct.
Okay, back to you, man. On the organic side of things, is that a trend that you're also seeing as well?
100%. So people are getting less traffic, but what we're seeing pretty much across the board with our clients is that the engagement rate is much higher from AI traffic. The conversion rate is also higher. So people are much closer to the bottom of the funnel and ready to make a decision when they get to your site than they used to be.
Cut. And the way that we're able to tell all of that is because we have access to client reports across a variety of industries. And as these two are working through campaigns every single week, they're analyzing that data, and we're ultimately making decisions with your campaigns based on that data. But because of this shift that we're seeing, not just in traffic volume, but also in platforms and how the platforms are engaging, metrics are starting to change as well. So maybe you're having some conversations with your client success manager or with your campaign strategist. These two, I know, are starting to have some of those conversations with their clients as well. From a metrics perspective, Billy, I'm going to start with you. What's one of the things that is different from a metrics perspective as we get more into an AI-centric search universe versus a traditional list of links and user engagement?
Traditionally you would look at your rankings for a lot of what we went after. So the higher you can rank, the better. That's not always the case in some cases, or some situations here. What we really want to start looking at over the board is what's your citation share? So what's the amount that you're being cited versus your competitors? What is your sentiment? Like every one of these AI tools has sentiment analysis. We want to make sure you have a good sentiment. The lower your sentiment score, the less likely AI is going to recommend you to somebody. So if you have bad reviews across the board, you're going to need to work on that, but you're not going to be showing up in AI search. Also, you need to be looking at just your visibility within the AI. One of the things we audit now when we look at somebody's website, especially before we even take on a client, is how invisible are they to AI? So can AI read through the site, or is there some kind of blocker? Is their site having a JavaScript? Does that stop them from getting crawled properly? There are a lot of different things that need to be taken into account, including your strategy. What's the kind of content you create? But we can talk about that at some other point. But focusing on what gets you the most readability right now from somebody who wants to make a decision
Yep.
is the best.
Awesome. So he mentioned in some cases with clients that we work with, they potentially are invisible in their search. There's certainly an easy way to overcome that, isn't there? If you're willing to put advertising dollars behind it.
Indeed.
From a metrics perspective with digital advertising, are the metrics that you're monitoring, are they changing as well? Talk a little bit about that.
The actual metrics aren't. So within Google, within Microsoft, within Meta, we're still looking at return on ad spend. We're still looking at cost per lead, at the efficiencies of everything that all that entails. When it comes to OpenAI, the platform is still very much in its infancy. So right now, we're looking at click-through rates. We're looking at cost per impressions. We're looking at engagement rates overall. And if what people did on the actual landing page versus return on ad spend, that is coming and that the platform will have that eventually. Right now, that's not a metric that is within the platforms that we can see. So right now, for OpenAI, the metrics are more engagement based versus direct return on spend.
Okay. So gonna hold you just for a second here. If you mentioned specifically with OpenAI. So in some cases, this platform is so new. Some of our clients watching this today might not even have a sense for how that platform even operates. They may just be assuming that it's just like Google or just like Meta. Can you talk through some of the specifics for how that platform is working and what companies should be expecting if they are trying advertising there? This is what we're seeing here over the last couple of weeks that we're running campaigns.
So the first thing to understand is that it's very new. OpenAI launched ads in general in January, but like you mentioned earlier, the buy-in was for major companies with major budgets.
Mm-hmm.
In March, it opened up to all of us with no minimum buy-in. Anybody can sign up to be verified.
Okay.
Yep. Right now, the targeting is very different from anything else we've ever done. So not only there is location-based targeting, but it's very controlled. So we can target in countries like the US, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Japan, and you can narrow down a little bit to either states or cities within those countries. But all the ads have to be in English, even if it's not an English-speaking country. Any country beyond those ones are either rolling out or not involved yet, and you cannot target them from there. That is about as specific as we can really get with targeting in general. So right now, I'm talking about keywords.
Mm-hmm.
Keywords are gone in OpenAI. Right now, you just have a box that's a context hint, and you tell OpenAI what kind of conversation you want to show up in, and then you let OpenAI kind of run the show there. We're testing if we should be putting phrases, so like long paragraphs in there, or if we should be stuffing it with keywords. We're still kind of figuring that out ourselves and seeing successes on both sides. But so it's similar in the sense that it is paid advertising, but how we approach it is very different from anything we've done before.
Well, and to that comment that she just made about it's less, at least right now, the advertising platform is less centered on keywords. When we think about key performance metrics and things like that on the AI mode or in AI search visibility in general, those metrics look a little bit, how we're tracking that looks a little bit different as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're going crazy. We're getting very different. Google, so not within the United States, but within the UK to start, they launched in Google Search Console the ability to track your AI impressions within search. They're not including click data because all of the things that people ask, all the different prompts people ask them are so disparate and not the same that it's not going to be the same situation where you go after a keyword and you rank for that keyword. Prompts are very different. There's lots of nuanced prompts. The same thing is going to happen once agents finally go live and agents are looking for these long tail queries within Google. Say you're having a block party and it's trying to find the best ice supplier in a neighborhood. It might use a variety of different fan out queries to find that best ice supplier. It's never going to be just one single phrase everybody's using. So keywords are the old way. We're getting to a world, this is going to sound conspiracy theory talk, where at some point we're going to get rid of rankings as a concept within the world of SEO. And it's going to be, did you show up or not? Did you get impressions and clicks or not? Not what was your position? It's, did it recommend?
Okay. So my tinfoil hat, everybody, conspiracy theory that Billy just talked to, that's actually hiding under the desk here. So I'll leave that there today. But you heard it. Rankings might not be something that we're paying attention to as a performance metric across the board as things start to evolve. Okay? Now again, not trying to scare anybody who's attending to, but when we talk about ad campaigns, okay, a lot of our ad campaigns, we tend to find landing pages perform the best because if somebody comes into your page, you have them kind of confined. Okay. Now you're talking about rankings and a lot less click activity happening.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising, we're talking about individual landing pages really being the best performance drivers. You're talking about a potential world where rankings and that might not matter. So is there even a situation where websites no longer matter if all of these platforms ultimately are just trying to keep us on their platform?
Yeah. To go back to what we were saying earlier, websites are still your space.
Okay.
It's your way of owning your message about your brand that no one else can touch. What you put on your site is what's real for you, and it's what you want the world to know about your brand. Whether that's how people make their purchases in the future, whether that's how people find out about you, all of that's up in the air. You might make your purchases directly within the search results coming forward. We're seeing that there's a piece of code we've been advising a lot of clients on implementing on the site, which is UCP. At some point in the future, you're going to be able to request a quote, get a contact, get a demo from a piece of software in the Google search results in ChatGPT without ever going to your website. Your website is still extremely important. As an advertising landing page, it's your chance to craft what someone sees, what can drive a conversion with somebody, but also that is starting to live in other places besides your website. And so it's important when you think about your presence on the web, you're not thinking about only my website showing up on Google. This is now where all the places someone may find me, all the different engines that someone may find me. It's a pretty great diversification of how we rank now, how we show up for search. It used to be like 4 different sites we would show up at.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like across where you need.
Okay. So we're moving down. That's great. So your list of platforms that you all need to prioritize now has just shifted from being 3 to 4 to being this many, however many this many actually is. Okay. So saying all that, now I want to talk to you a little bit about the opportunities that our clients might be able to find in this madness and uncertainty that's kind of swirling around all of us. In that noise, what are some of the signals that they should be paying attention to and actually leaning in on, as opposed to just having all this noise happen?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that comes top of mind, especially when it comes to AI mode, as it's coming over, talk about that a lot, is ensuring that the current ads you have running on the Google platform have some AI features tied into it.
Okay.
There's been some theories that as ads move into AI mode, because they will if they haven't already, Google will prioritize ads that have AI features tied into it over ones that don't. So if your competitors have AI features turned on and you don't, Google's going to prioritize the AI over yours. So first one, I think, is just figuring out how that works now before it becomes the end all be all, for whether that's AI Max, Performance Max, Demand Gen, some sort of mix, however that works best for your brand. I think the second biggest thing is to jump into OpenAI ads. Early adopters tend to have a leg up. That's how it's always been in the history of marketing. So sign up, ensure that you can get verified. Sometimes the verification process takes a couple days, maybe up to a week. Sometimes it's instantaneous. It's pretty wish-washy on how fast it happens, but just to get it up, get it running, and see, again, what works for your brand.
Is it timing based that delay happens? Is it industry based? Can you give me a little bit of a sense where, as we've seen more clients come into that as an advertising platform just to get it set up, what trends are we seeing in terms of just getting the opportunities to be able?
Yeah, so when you first sign up for OpenAI ads, you put in all your information, your business information, and then it goes through a manual review. We are theorizing it's very much industry based. We have seen some clients, we saw ourselves get verified almost instantly and we were in. We saw other clients that are financial based or are healthcare adjacent take a little bit longer, take a week or two. Probably because there's more of a manual review for those industries that are sensitive topics, whereas a marketing agency is not a sensitive topic. So we got the green lit pretty quick.
Gotcha. So the old your money, your life industries that we used to, that the expertise and about the author boxes and things like that were high priority for SEO. That's also going to translate to a little bit more of a hands-on review to be able to do advertising and open.
Oh.
Fair analogy to make?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about healthcare in general. If I'm a healthcare mental health service provider or medical service provider, can I run ads on ChatGPT?
Not right now. So if you are providing direct patient care, if your website in any way collects personal information, if there's any sort of HIPAA, working in there, not going to happen. If you are a medical software company, if you are providing services for a doctor's office or something like that, not providing direct patient care, then you might have a longer review, but you should be able to run ads.
Okay. On the AI search visibility side of things, we're gonna throw another shout out here to our healthcare related clientele. Is there anything different that they need to be thinking about with their AI search strategies that might be a little bit unique to a business to business company or a e-commerce company?
Yeah. I mean, the short answer is
okay.
So it's getting really, for a while there, Google's really trying not to answer a lot of healthcare questions because they were having some bad experiences where they're telling people to eat like pebbles and things like that to deal with health problems because they surfaced that from some article somewhere. They've since kind of decided, hey, you know what? We're going all in. We're going to start giving advice. As a result, they're pulling a lot of information from a lot of non-traditional sources and sites that perhaps you never would have competed with in the past, but now are direct competitors with you. That informational content that you used to create, like we used to create glossaries for digital marketing.
Sure.
This is what a web page is. This is what a landing page is. This stuff now, like answering healthcare questions, is not as important as it is to answer someone looking for the services you provide or looking to find your healthcare clinic location or try to find out how much it costs or will my insurance cover this. That stuff is much more important now than, what is vertigo or something like that, because everybody under the sun is answering that question and Google has no reason to show you versus your competitor when everybody's got the great answer. What you need to be is optimized towards people who might show up. So not everybody asking the question, but who in that area you serve that needs your service, how could you show up for those people? So that's going to be advertising, where it used to be a lot more organic based. Some of it's going to be a lot more organic based depending on how it goes. Optimizing your content to be more transaction and navigational and commercial based is much better than optimizing to be more informational.
Gotcha. Okay. That's helpful. From an advertising perspective, I know we're going pretty deep in healthcare here, but let's go back to not OpenAI, right? Just OpenAI doesn't do healthcare ads right now. From a healthcare advertising perspective, are there tweaks that you're making? Are there levers that you're pulling inside that Google universe where you have predictable success or repeatable scaling success that we want to dive in a little bit deeper?
So what we're seeing right now is a switch in the actual ad copy to be more about the outcome versus what you're offering. So, for example, if you were a dentist office, okay, your ad copy is moving more from the service you provide, like root canals in Pittsburgh, to pain-free, like reducing mouth pain or something like that. So the result of your services over what the actual service is, because people are doing longer searches, because they probably might already know what the issue is and they're looking for the problem. So everything now is kind of moving more, especially in healthcare, towards the outcome of what the service is over the actual service itself.
Interesting. That sounds like a universal trend across any of our marketing strategies, whether it's us providing them or just as you're building up your own digital footprint with your marketing and advertising. So hopefully that was helpful for everybody watching today. All right, we are down to 5 minutes, team. Okay, I have one question that I know we need to hit on. At Dom, we help clients across 30 different countries sell into over 150 different markets. So let's talk a little bit about stuff happening outside of the United States, especially since it's World Cup kickoff day. Okay, so we're going to take this global for everybody. I know I'm dating the history of this, but it's just the reality. So talk to me a little bit about what we're seeing and how things need to change at a global perspective as opposed to what's happening domestically here in this.
Sure. So, I mean, previously we thought, oh, we're going to have a delay here because the UK and the EU have a lot more regulatory features than the United States does when it comes to AI. What we're seeing is that already there's been a shift. People are typically using AI already, but in English much of the time, in other countries where supposedly it's not ready to go yet. Even as a business ourselves, we're getting leads in from people using it overseas or using a VPN to show up in the United States so they can use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
We thought we had a lot of time for some people who are overseas. That is not the case. Everybody is gung-ho. They're all going. Everybody's ready to get on the AI boat. The United States is actually slower in its acceptance rate for AI than other countries.
Yeah.
We see that right now in the United States, it's much lower than it actually is in Africa, than it is in Eastern Europe, especially in Asia as well, where we're seeing a lot of people adopt AI at a much faster rate than they are even here. People there are used to having to deal with translation issues and things like that already. And so it seems like they're much more comfortable to accept the information they're getting than we are with our, more American view of the world.
Okay.
So I think what you need to realize is that it's already here. Like AI mode, some may be the default. That's the premise we're working towards, is that like we know they're going to pull the plug and this is going to happen. They're saying they're not going to make it the default right now. We already saw tests go live in the dev version of Chrome, which made it the default, and then they pulled that back after people started to get worried. It's coming at some point. We're already in the AI world now. We need to start prepping right now for what we're calling the agentic future, which is going to be United States, Europe, Asia, Africa, everywhere across the world, where AI is not only the future, it's already the present, and there's other futures coming for us.
Gotcha. Okay. And we are down to our 2-minute warning here, folks. So the last thing that I will add on related to advertising is that OpenAI is really just the tip of the iceberg. So in foreign markets, there are going to be other AI platforms that over time, Naver specifically, I know, has a chatbot in South Korea. There's going to be advertising happening on those platforms as well. So we want to make sure that you pay attention to those too. 60 seconds or less. Give me your biggest takeaway that our clients need to know as they continue to move forward with AI marketing. Anna, go.
Adopt it now. Get into OpenAI, get verified. Early adopters tend to benefit. And figure out AI in Google while you're at it.
And learn alongside us because we're learning through this process as well, right? Okay, Billy, one thing. What do they need to take away from all the knowledge that was shared this afternoon?
Own your message as much as you can. Ask AI, what do you do? If anything about it in any way is wrong, you better start working on it right now. Get it right across every source you possibly can, because one of those sources you're going to forget about, and that's the one that it's going to reference.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so both of you, thank you for setting some time aside to come over here and chat with me about this. Of course, for those of you listening, watching, however you're doing that, if you have any questions You can certainly reach out to these two or reach out to me. Your client success manager is also going to be a great point of contact for you to help get those questions answered. And certainly here at Direct Online Marketing, we'd love to help you take those next steps forward with AI as part of your digital marketing strategy in whatever fashion that makes the most sense to you. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining our town hall. We'll see you later.
Bye.